Hello and welcome back to another respiratory education session from the ACP Education Department. Today we're here with a very important piece of equipment. This is the heater from Paykel that's going to be relevant to each trach and vent patient as well as our BiPAP patients. So what does it do? Let's talk about it. So this piece of equipment is the heater that we're going to be discussing today. Now, if you notice, it's a very small piece of equipment, but it's a very important piece of equipment. This heater is going to provide heat as well as moisture to our trach vent patients as well as our BiPAP patients because they need it. On our trach vent patients, we are bypassing the upper airway. Therefore, we have to have some type of heat, some type of moisture, and this is going to take the place of that. Also, our BiPAP patients, they need heat and moisture because the air that comes from their ventilator to their nostrils or to their mouth area is always going to be dry. So we have to heat it as well as humidify it. And when we talk about humidity, this is what we're going to use for humidity. This is our water chamber. Now, if you notice, the water chamber comes in this size. It also comes in a smaller size, but we're going to focus on this one right now. The one that's a smaller size, you actually have to spike it with a bag. Now, this one, if you notice that black line right around here, you're going to fill this up with distilled water. We also recommend that you get a funnel. Put the funnel in here, fill it up to that black line with distilled water. Water in this chamber normally lasts anywhere from about 8 to 10 hours. Over here is the actual heater portion. Now, if you take note of this heater, it has a few buttons on the front of it. The first button on this side is the power on and off button. The button right here is your invasive, non-invasive button. And the button over here is your alarm button. That's how you're going to silence this machine. This machine has no batteries, so you have to plug it up into the wall using the power cable that is provided. Now that we have it plugged up, I want you to hear the sounds that you will normally hear when you first turn this on. Power button. Whenever you turn it on, you are going to be greeted by that alarm because there's nothing going on at this moment. In order to silence that alarm, you press your alarm silence button. If you notice right here, there are two little icons. The one up top is for the invasive mode. The one down bottom is for the non-invasive mode. It automatically by default will always come on in the invasive mode. From that point, hold it down for a couple of seconds, it will double beep and it will swap to the non-invasive mode. Non-invasive will be for our BiPAP patients. Invasive will be for our trach vent patients. Normally your temperature is going to show up right here. Since we don't have any of our cords connected, we will not have a temperature show up at this time. In order to turn it off, hold down until you get the double beep and it will shut itself down. Now, the next couple of things that we're going to discuss will be these wires right here. Now, the wires are really easy to remember because they are actually color coded. One plug is blue, the other plug is yellow. One hole is yellow, the other hole is blue. You're going to connect these just like so. And once they go in, you turn your heater on and you're all set up. So let's get the blue one in. And those are your heater wires. Now you may be saying to yourself, why do we need heated wires? Well, we already talked about heat as well as humidity. So this provides the heat. This plate actually acts as a hot plate. And what's going to happen is this will heat up to the desired temperature. You press down on this piece and you slide your water chamber in. In order to take your water chamber out, you're going to press down on the blue piece and you're going to slide this out just like so. To put it back in, you're going to press down and slide back. Now, coming back to our heater wires, you have one wire here and another wire up here. This initial wire connects closer to the machine right down here on your circuit. This wire right here connects closer to the patient. It goes further away. It's longer. Also right here, you have your cables. One of these is a 2-prong cable and the other is a 3-prong cable. For this circuit that we're going to show you in just a moment, we're going to use the 3-prong cable. This is your circuit setup. When you open the package, you're going to have 2 separate tubes. One that is short, the other that is longer. The one that is longer is the one that actually has the heater coil running all the way through it. So this one assures that our patient will get adequate heat all the way up from the machine to the trach or to the BiPAP mask. This one right here is your cold tubing. This one over here is your hot tubing. So the main one that we are concerned with the most is the heated wire circuit, because this one is going to be the one that provides the heat and moisture to your patient. Now, on this side of your heated wire circuit, this is where your wires will connect. Now, this wire can be connected on either side of this water chamber. We prefer to connect it to this side because this is where all the wires are. Therefore, you alleviate all the jumbling of your wires and you keep everything nice and neat on one side. In order to connect all of these together, you want to be very careful when you're taking this portion out. You never want to pull it by this thin piece of plastic right here. You always want to pop out with your fingers. Once you pop out with your fingers, you're going to take this piece right here, because we notice that this piece has a little piece that stands out. It's a little lip on there. You're going to take this piece and you're going to snap it right behind there. Snaps in. And once you get it snapped in, next I want you to keep in mind that there is a small little ledge here on this side. If you can see it there, you're going to line it up with this hook up here on top of the ventilator circuit, and you're going to snap those together. Once you have that connected, your next chore is to connect your other heated wire, the one with the 3-prong cable, right back here. Once you get those two connected, you can now move on to the upper part of your tubing. So closer to the patient, you want to take your other piece of heated wire and you connect right into the top. And now you are ready to deliver heat as well as humidity to your trach and vented patient. After you complete that task, your cold tube will run from this machine to whatever ventilator that you will be using. Cold tube always goes from machine to machine. Hot tube always goes from machine to patient. Once you get all of these things done, you are now ready to care for your trach and vented patient. There's one last thing that we forgot to mention. When you want to disconnect this, it can be a little tricky because you can't just pull it out. What you have to do is think about your car and your ignition. When you have your key in your ignition, you turn it off by coming back. You don't want to go too hard because you can break this piece off, but you want to turn it back just like you're removing your key from your ignition. So let's do a quick recap. Your water chamber is going to sit on top of the heater. Never fill your water chamber up while it's sitting on the heater. Always take it off, fill it up to the black line, replace it back onto the heater. The heater has a hot plate. This will heat up once you plug it into the wall. This has no battery on it, so it cannot be taken with you on the go. It has 3 buttons on the front. One is for the alarm, one is for the mode, invasive and non-invasive, and the other is for your power on and off. You also have 2 sets of heated wires. One that has a blue end, the other has a yellow end. On the yellow end, we're normally going to use the 3-prong piece. As far as your circuit, you're going to have your cold circuit, which goes from machine to machine, which has no wire running through it. And your long circuit, which goes from machine to patient, and it has a heated wire coil running right through the middle of it. So hopefully this has been able to help you. We've talked about the heater, the water chamber, as well as the wired pieces. Thanks for joining us for this educational session with the ACP Education Department.